Crikey! Get a load of this. How corny is that? This one's a bloody doozy. It's been here for a long time. I've really wanted to do the walk around on this one ages ago, the day it got here. I've been driving this one. You've got to test drive them because we've done a lot of work. So I've accidentally put a few Ks on it multiple times because of what it is. This has been on the planet since the 10th month in 1982. I don't know where it originally started. It's full of mods. I don't know who done the mods, but I do know that the Irwin family owned this one, and I've done a lot of Googling to see, was it Steve's? Was it just a zoo rig? What could I find? I did find that Steve himself owned it. He has driven it, but it was an Australian zoo rig, and hence the Crocodile Hunter. We're so stoked to be part of this one's journey, and we all know Steve Irwin's like a god around the world. He's loved more than Meghan Markle. He's loved more than the Royals. Everyone loves Steve Irwin, so it's been such a pleasure. But it's got new owners now, and they're important to us because they've purchased this rig. I think it was a good 12 years or so ago. Was on an auction. It was an auction, and they purchased it. They put in their bid. It was eBay, and they were clearing out some stuff from Australia Zoo. It made its way to eBay to an auction, and the current family really wanted it, and they won it. And they want to use it, put the kids in there. This thing's got rear seats. There's even talk about further stuff to do to put a child seat in this one, and what have you. But it was so good, a nice family people own it now, and good on them. So that's all I can find on its history. Now this thing's had an engine conversion. We'll go have a look. It's got a 302 Clevo in it. I don't know who's done that. I don't know if Steve found it like this. Something really interesting about this rig we noticed while it was in our care. We seen that the rear cross member is off a ute. Now all the stamps say it's a HJ47. I can't tell at what stage or what's happened to this, but there's two things that say this has got a ute chassis under it, the rear cross member at the back, and then also there's mounts. Where it mounts underneath here to the cab, the utes have an extra, it's like an extra support, an extra weld of steel under there, and this one's got it. There's other troopies here, I've gone and confirmed it, that don't have it, the utes have it. So some stage in its life, it's had an engine conversion and perhaps even a chassis swap. I say perhaps because they might have just used the mounts. They might have used the rear cross member. It might be the original chassis. I can't tell you. But this is what we have here today, the Croc Hunter. So up the front, an alloy bull bar. They're probably popular in the day. It's been here the whole time. It's staying there. And that is basic. This is no bells and whistles on the outside. We'll take a closer look inside and at the Clevo. We do have, however, the old LX wheels. And it's got the LX rims on there, which just give it a look. They're a Toyota Landcruiser thing. And it's got some Yoko Onos, or John Lennon's wife. It's got a set of Yokos on it, and all terrains, they're brand new. The client put them on there, then bought the vehicle to us. I'm gonna lift the bonnet. We'll take a close look at the Clevo and what the hell it's doing at Mr. Landcruiser. Look at it, it fits in there quite nice, the old Clevo. And driving this one, it's such a pleasure. It's got a nice little note. It's really actually quite quiet. It's bit of a sleeper, and it's old tech. It's not the fastest V8 I've ever been in, but it's still such a pleasure to drive. This one came into Mr. Landcruiser. It's just had, maybe because it was on the zoo, the property itself, they didn't care about all electrical gremlins or things that when you're touring you want everything to be sweet. So we've gone through, and could be bearings, rebuild a diff, the whole cooling system from hoses to the radiator itself, just plumbing in. It's got a washer now for the windscreen, just things that weren't on there. Electrical, none of the dash worked, we changed that over. The Holly was a mess, an absolute mess. And now it's one of the nicest cars to start in here. You just turn the key, one pump, when it's cold, no choke, and she idles beautifully. I might have to start it in a minute. And the bushes, shocks, the leaks were all right. We've gone through all that. It's just multiple. It's another one of those. It's come in for a report. We've found a ton of things The only things we've really left on here is we're not addressing the rust, and it's quite minute. It's been really picky. If this was getting roadworthy, it'll pretty much tick everything. It's just got a little bit of bubbling coming through in a few little spots. But mechanically now, the new family of this one, or not the new family, they've owned it 12 years, the family of this one's going to jump in and enjoy it now. So I can't wait to hand it back over. Well, let's go and take a look inside this beast. Get a load of inside. It's so comfy. These seats are out of the Brown 60 series. That's such a retro look. I've got them in my 60. And HJ47, these seats bolt straight in. If you've got the 47 seat rails, these seats just bolt straight onto those rails. If you don't have the 47 seat rails, it's the driver seat. You can use the 60 series, the older 60 series seat, bolt straight on. If you don't use the 47 rails, this seat here will be elevated a bit if you use the 60 series brackets, but they are a good, I wouldn't call it an upgrade, just if you find a nice set of seats or you want something a bit different, they bolt straight in. We didn't do that, but somebody's figured that out and put them in there. Inside this we've got custom made door cards. They house the speakers, and then there's a cool set of speakers set up in the back for the stereo as well. The dash, HJ, might be Clevo now, but plain HJ47 dash with the, this is 82, so at the start of 82, it didn't have this, but then 10th month 82, by now it's got the clock, the modern dash, the tacho, and late 82 in came the disc brakes. So this one was lucky enough to get the disc brakes as well. They put a new no bull floor in there, and it's still got the rear seats in the back, some carpet in the back. Again, we're talking about changing a few things in the back in the future, or kid seat friendly, but for now it's got the original seats in there. Look, this thing's pretty plain. There's not a great else to talk about in here. It's just a beautiful old troopy that's been, it's looked after. It must have done low Ks towards the end of its life, and it's been garaged for many of the last 12 years. So things have sat still, and that's why we've actually changed this cluster. It's another used one, but it was in good working condition and a lot nicer than the last one. A lot of electrical gremlins. Actually, there was just a lot of this had to come out because there was a lot of issues going on in here, electrical, underneath the bonnet and inside the cab here, throughout the car, right at the rear, right to the back of the loom too. A lot of electrical problems. That's it for the inside. Somebody has put a nicer, replace the hood lining and put something up there, keep it nice and cool, a little bit of carpet. That's it. She's a HJ47. Still rambling about electrical gremlins right throughout this. I've said we've put the rear lights on the back. They were LED, they were cut out for LED. The holes were there, so we've just pretty much put the same item back in the same position, just good working ones. Number plate holder wasn't there. That was all just bolted to the door, so now we put the original. We had one in our used pile. We put the original number plate holder back on the door. And set that up correctly. We've also gone through a few of the weather strips. Things like the back door didn't even have a weather strip, so I think it was Richard took it for a drive, could smell some fumes, so we definitely addressed a few of the weather strips while it was here. Went throughout this thing comprehensively. Now we're done. I believe they're coming to pick it up tomorrow. It's pretty exciting. This is a family, they have little kids, they want to use this thing, they want to get out and have an adventure. And I'm so glad they got the vehicle they wanted. They didn't just want a HJ47, but when they seen this one available, the family are big Irwin fans, and they waited out the auction and won the bid. So it's so good to see that they're going to come and enjoy this thing now. It's been sitting in their garage for so long. At Mr. Landcruiser, we're done for this visit. Until next time, but right now I'm going to go for another little squirt in the old Clevo. Oh yeah, Crocs rule.